This is a podcast called 25 Whistles, talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Let's get right to it.
Yes.
Nice.
This is 25 Whistles, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of college football. Download the DraftKings app, use the code BobbySports, and get in on the action. We got a good one coming up. Head football coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores, former defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, Clark Lea. We talk about the pressure he's constantly under. I was straight up like, hey, so is it harder to get in here so you can't get as many good players?
What a great question.
Because Vanderbilt's hard to get into.
A lot of smart kids there.
And
Oh, why you didn't go there?
I never even thought about going there. It's like
because you weren't smart enough to think it? Or
yeah, to me, it's like the Harvard, it's the Yales,
I'm
it's the
kidding.
Vanderbilt.
I never. Yeah, for sure. It's like a Ivy League school in the South.
Yeah, not for me.
I think my favorite question was, do you ever just look in the mirror and be like, I can't believe I'm here? That's a good one by me. So we'll talk to Clark Lea coming up, and then 3 players from the football team who joined us. AJ Swann, quarterback, linebacker. CJ Taylor joined us for a little bit. Punter. It's fun. We went over there. We made a show of too much access as well, and I've hurt myself. But every episode I hurt myself.
You hurt yourself really for real this time?
Well, I didn't injure myself. I hurt myself.
Yeah, me too. My leg.
But
My right leg hurts.
I wiped out.
You did.
I wiped.
You did. I thought you were joking,
I
but you
wiped
weren't.
out. No, I wiped out. It sucked. Okay, let's go over and get in the tittle tattle.
It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the tittle tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
All right. The other day we were talking about athletes changing their last name. So if you could change your last name, something unique, different, what would it be?
I'm a little bit obsessed with the name from Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, and he does ridiculousness too, but her name is Chanel West Coast.
Oh,
I don't even know much about her. I just think that name is so funny.
That's pretty cool.
Because her real name is like Charlie or Charlotte or something, and their last name is a real normal name. I looked her up, but it's Chanel West Coast. So I think I'd be like Bobby Southeast.
So dumb. But you already have a cool name. Like you already have
That wasn't
Bones.
the question. The question was change your name.
yeah. It can't be Bone. I know that, but come on, go along here.
I'd be Bobby Southeast.
Bobby Southeast.
Or
Okay.
or Bobby, or like Bobby Arkansas or something geographic.
Bobby Arkansas. That's a redneck right there, dude. I love that.
What would yours be?
I guess spaghetti,
Eddie Spaghetti?
right? I mean that would just make sense.
Is that like a cartoon?
You?
I don't know. Now you got me thinking like regionally. California Kevin.
No, you don't have to do that. You can pick whatever you want.
And it's a last name, not a first name.
Kevin from California. There you go.
No, you
No,
don't.
I know. I'm just trying.
From California would be.
It is. You're talking with a bunch of guys, too, who have fake names. Like Bones is my real last name.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even really go by your real last name, although it does get brought up sometimes.
It's there.
Mike D has a whole different last name.
Yep, not distro.
It's not Distro. So
Kickoff is not Kevin's
Kickoff's not his
first
first
name.
name. Yeah.
Could be though.
Yeah. So I'm going Bobby Southeast. That would be my name.
Okay.
All right, what else?
All right, Notre Dame and Navy are kicking off in Ireland this weekend. If you could watch Arkansas play in any other international country, where would it be?
Well,
Would you want to see them in another country?
but that wasn't the question. It was
No, I'm saying that's probably why it's tough to even think of one.
I wouldn't want to, but I would just go like full culture shock and go Japan.
Wow.
They would be like, what is happening?
Oh my God, I'm just picturing
All these rednecks.
your stepdad in
Yeah.
Japan.
and camouflage.
What the?
Yeah.
And all the different kind of Kit Kats they have over there.
They have a lot of flavors.
This is a green tea Kit Kat.
Yeah.
What on earth?
How long they had these over here? We don't even get them in America.
We need to get him shipped back over there.
Mhm. I was talking to one of my buddies about a golf line, and I thought it would be funny to do. There were 2 versions of it, and he had these ideas as well, like a Hunter's Orange golf line for hunters who also play golf, but most of the stuff's like Hunter's Orange. 'Cause
It's actually not bad.
I've never seen Hunter's Orange golf, and the other one was, and he said, what about for people who smoke a lot of weed, like a marijuana golf line? I was like, yeah, I would call it 420.
Nice.
Hilarious.
Nice.
I don't know if those exist. But
And so you're talking about leaves all over?
What?
Marijuana leaves?
it can be whatever.
Okay.
But I would call but 4 FORE 4
20.
I mean, the brand would be 420.
Nice.
You know how some shirts have like little patterns of things? You look
Yeah.
closely and it's a martini drink or
So
something.
it would be a lot of that.
It would be like a
It
joint.
could be a weed leaf. It could be Bob Marley.
Smoke.
It could
Smoke.
whatever. But it would be like that, like like Hunter Orange. But I don't know what I would call that one yet. But 420 came to me immediately. I was like 420, FORE20.
Yeah, that sets itself
I don't even
up.
smoke weed. I've never smoked weed.
So
but
Hunter Orange though would be cool with like a shoot because you shoot a score, and you shoot when you hunt.
Okay.
There's something there with shoot, like shoot under par.
Shoot under, yeah.
You know what I mean?
shooting. Oh, let's think about
There's something there with
Undershoot.
shoot.
Let's
Shoot
think about
under.
this. We come out with our own 25 whistles golf line.
Ooh.
We steal this whole idea.
Well, I mean, no, I was part of the creation of the idea.
Yeah, but whoever your buddy was you were talking to, they're out. If we come up with a name, they're out.
You're out.
Sorry, man. We came up with shoot under par.
Thanks, man.
Shooting.
Shoot under 70.
Fire gun.
Antlers.
Deer. Horns.
Yeah.
We're looking for the
Bullets.
parallels between golf and
Rifle.
hunting.
Driver.
Sticks. Driver.
Shoot
Grip.
stands.
Grip it.
Deer stand. Tree stand.
Pistol.
Morning.
Bullseye.
Early morning dew.
Yeah.
Deer corn.
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
I like that, though. All
Deer
right,
stand.
next question.
Okay, after being named the starter this week, what is your over-under on Baker Mayfield's starting games this year?
Oh, here we go. Unrealistic. Go ahead, Bones.
All the games.
Exactly.
Every game. This is a pro Baker Mayfield podcast. I'm a massive Baker Mayfield fan. Let's go, Baker Mayfield. Let's start them all. Let's win it. Let's win a championship, what I say.
Eddie, you want the first 4 games?
He's feeling it. Yeah, please. Who are they playing?
At the Vikings, versus the Bears,
Loss.
Win.
versus the Eagles,
Win.
at the Saints.
Win.
Ooh, I have loss, win, loss, loss.
You have Vikings loss.
Yep.
Bears win.
Yep.
But you have them
Losing
to
against the
Saints?
Eagles and the Saints. Yeah, man. Be careful with the Saints.
Carr.
You got Derek Carr there.
Do you see that Instagram, how ripped he is?
No.
He had sleeveless shirt and he had a helmet on.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but did you see the Kyler Murray one though, where he's wearing like it looks like a sports
bra?
bra?
Yeah. Yeah.
His belly's sticking out.
Next to the longest yard cheerleader.
I'm going 16 games.
Okay.
And not 17 because they probably get hurt one game. Everybody misses a game.
Stop. Be realistic.
And the Bucs win 10.
Wow.
This is a pro Baker Mayfield podcast.
I heard that.
All right, what else?
Last one, the Commanders ended the Ravens' NFL record preseason win streak at 24 games the other night. Is it the most pointless win streak of all time or one of the most impressive?
I'm going to tell you this. They played that game hard. Both those teams played that game so hard. It was actually a preseason game. Everybody wasn't playing, but it looked like it mattered. It was awesome. It's not pointless because even if you do something pointless, you can't do it 24 times in a row. It was like last year when I went on like a 12 or 13 week winning streak. I could never do that again. Everything just worked out in the right way. And I got very lucky. Same thing with the preseason games. It's not pointless. I think it's pretty cool. But we talk about it. We've talked about it for 3 years, 4 years. So there's something to it. Like it's fun, but I'm not going to say pointless. Good for them. I looked up some of the other streaks, longest streaks. Patriots 21 game win streak in the early 20s. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's a lot.
You remember that?
And that's winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it's leading up to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and then all into the next season.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA basketball won 7 straight titles. I'm convinced that they were the only ones that had a goal.
No one else did?
All the other teams had to come to like their house to play.
Yeah. When was that?
It was John Wooden, Lou Alcindor before Kareem. Oklahoma football won 47 straight games. Think about that.
That's insane.
That's 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That's pressure. After 20, every game's like, oh my goodness.
The Lakers 33 game regular season win streak, which is pretty crazy. So there you go.
You know, though, back to preseason though, like I really thought that most teams go into preseason being like, we're just gonna work stuff out. We're not really trying to win this game. But after watching a little bit of hard knocks, and not just this Hard Knocks, every Hard Knocks, you really do see that they care about winning that game.
Yeah, you see that they want their schemes to be successful. And how are they successful? By producing yards and points. And if you produce yards and points,
You're gonna win.
You're going to have a shot. You're going to want to win the
Yeah.
game. And then you're also just a competitor.
Yeah.
You don't get to that stage if you're coaching or playing without being really competitive. So you never want to lose anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose anything ever. I want to rip my eyeballs out sometimes instead of lose.
Yeah.
Even stupid stuff.
You've been like that your whole life.
I hate it. So, but yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you.
stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
I hesitate to tell you guys this.
What?
It came to me in a dream.
Oh.
Let me tell you what's happening here. Just a reminder that DraftKings Sportsbook, that there are people, 25 Whistles, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of college football. Download the DraftKings app, use the code BobbySports, and get in on the action. So we do the parlay here every week.
Yeah.
And I think probably what happened was we'd spent so much time at Vanderbilt, I dreamt about it that night. After we left.
Vanderbilt, Hawaii?
Yes. I dreamt where somebody came in my dream and told me who to bet.
Okay.
And they said, take Vanderbilt minus 17.5. But all I know is that going up into that, I was like, I'm not taking Vanderbilt minus 17. That's just a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up. It's just a lot of points for two teams that people don't really have a handle on.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to even bet the game. But in my dream, some guy in a hat said bet Vanderbilt minus 17.5.
You can't argue with dreams, man.
You know what I think about with this?
Hmm.
The Sandlot. When Benny has a dream, and Babe Ruth comes into his room, says you got to go get that ball.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while.
Dang. Okay, Vanderbilt minus 17.5 and Notre Dame minus 21.
Is this going to be a thing?
Those are my parlays. What?
Dreams?
I don't know. I never had somebody come to me in a dream and tell me to bet a game.
No, I mean, I think when
I'm
that
going to bet
happens.
the Vanderbilt. Hold on. Which, by the way, I'm super happy that we have football again.
Oh, my
Even if
gosh.
it's
I'm
this-
so excited.
Even if it's week 0, as they call it. Let me get on DraftKings.
You said Notre Dame and Navy are where?
Ireland, Dublin.
Ooh.
I'm going Notre Dame minus 21. That my official parlay is going to be Notre Dame minus 21, Vanderbilt minus 17.5. Okay, so let me get my verification in here at DraftKings.
Kicking off the season with some blowouts.
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on blowouts in early football and early NCAA tournament, first couple rounds. All right, let's go over to where's college football? Here it is. College football.
You're like past women's soccer, past
Volleyball. Badminton.
tennis.
Hey, I can do money lines, right, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I got to put some money in my account.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What's in the kitty?
Nothing. I took it all out. I took a bunch of it out and then lost the rest of it in golf this week.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm doing Vanderbilt minus 17.5, $500. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
And I'm going to win this money because of a dream.
And if this works, come on, dreams. Keep on coming.
Sweet dreams are made of these. So that, and then my parlay, you got that, Mike?
I got it.
All right, if you want to take the 25 Whistles parlay, you can check out DraftKings Sportsbook new users. Use the code BobbySports when you download the app, 21 and up in most eligible states. But age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See show notes for full details. And now, we get into an interview with head coach Clark Lea. Some notes on Coach Lea. Former defensive coordinator from Notre Dame from 2018-2020, where he helped them get to the college football playoff. He was a walk-on at Vanderbilt as a player before earning a scholarship as a fullback. He was a big baseball player and walked on as a fullback. He helped get the program their first SEC win since 2019 last year when they stunned the then-ranked number 24 Kentucky and then beat Florida the following week. And in my dream, I was told, bet on them. You can follow Coach Lea on Twitter at Coach_Lea. Here he is, Coach Lea. Coach, what meeting did you come from right now?
I was just honestly by myself planning mode. So
Oh, they acted like you were in some big important meeting with like 50 people and that you were delivering basically a sermon on leadership.
I was encouraging myself, leading myself.
Sometimes that's the hardest. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right.
As the season, I mean, you guys are playing this weekend.
Yeah.
So you've spent the last few weeks, couple months getting ready for the season, but now it's week 1. Are you into game prep mode with the team now, or is it still we're still figuring out who we are, the identity of our team going into the season?
No, not that that's perfect, but that's been set. We started Friday with Hawaii prep, so today was totally dedicated to them. I mean, there always will be aspects of us playing good on good in practice to keep speed up and just give guys a chance to continue to compete for the roles they want. But we're in the swing of the season now.
Good on good feels dangerous because if you play too good on good, somebody could get hurt pretty easily. But you're right. There's like a fine line you have to walk because you want your guys to feel the speed of the game as close as possible, but not get hurt. How do you walk that line?
Well, it's you have to have a feel for it. I mean, I think for us right now, we're still establishing a program, so we can't be afraid to play football. And that doesn't mean we're going live, but it means that we're willing to go out there and put our best on our best and allow for iron to sharpen iron. I mean, that's an important part of our growth. Now, the cool thing for us is in year 3, we have more depth, and so we're going to get better looks out of our scout teams. And sometimes good on good doesn't always include the ones versus the ones, right? You have the ability to mix and match, and the better your depth, the more quality the play is on the field, no matter who's out there.
Is the defensive line the hardest place to get quality depth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, that's a tough place for sure. I think, we've also fought to build depth at corner. I think that's a position that has very particular traits that you're looking for. And then I would say the O-line also. I mean, it's one thing to go out and get big bodies. It's another thing to get refined players that occupy those big bodies, right? So sometimes those guys need another year to kind of incubate and take ownership over those big frames, and so it's a little bit slower process there. Fortunately for us, we feel really good about where we are in the O-line depth. We returned a lot of guys from a year ago, and we had a good O-line. But in college, and particularly in a developmental program, you got to be patient with all of those things. And over time, like we're experiencing now, we look out on the field and see better football being played, and that's exciting for us.
Do you feel like the portal itself is good for Vanderbilt? Because with, I would say, the surge of what would be the word? Like just the momentum the program has, that people are now looking to, if they're going to hop out of another SEC school, to give Vanderbilt a look for the first time?
I think there's a lot of reasons to feel like that the portal can serve us well. We'll never be a team that builds out of the portal, just because I think that when I think about sustained success here, I think about building it through retention in our systems, retention in our culture, retention in our language. I think it's so important. And when you're swapping players out every year, it's hard to actually own an identity. So we want to be really deliberate with the fact that we're recruiting players to be here 4 and 5 years, to learn our systems, learn our culture, learn our language, and to be able to teach that within their roles as a player-run program. But when you look at the facility upgrades, and obviously, we got to keep pulling the progression line of success in terms of our results. Being in Nashville, Tennessee, which has got such a great local recruiting base, being able to call some of those guys back home. Obviously, Nashville being attractive to people that want maybe a different experience and then what they started their college in. And then obviously, as we build this program to sustain success, I think it becomes very attractive for those guys looking for a new home. We have to be very disciplined to make sure we don't lose the kind of the strategy of the program, which is, again, to build it from the bottom up and not to be trading in players in and out every year.
Does it concern you, or is it a good concern that the better your program gets, you have to almost re-recruit your guys to stay? Because if you're getting higher quality players, obviously if they're not getting the playing time they deserve, they may look elsewhere. Have you had to start that process at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's important, no matter the success of the program, that as a coach, your responsibility is to keep your players connected with the vision for success that you have for them within the program. And so we need to communicate that every day. We are a program that takes a long-term approach. That doesn't mean we're punting our success to 5 years from now. It just means that we're going to give people time to develop. We're never going to give up on someone. If we've recruited them into this program, they belong here. And so even if they don't see the results right away, it's our job to keep them in the fight, to keep them learning and growing and inspired to take action. That takes intention. That has to be part of the design. And certainly we also celebrate those guys that at the moment they feel like this isn't quite right for them, that they go and find opportunities elsewhere that allow them to get out there and play. I don't see that as a bad thing at all. But to me, we are what we're delivering here is an experience for the players. It's one that we're putting resources into their development. They're challenged and supported here. They're building connection and bonds through doing hard things together. That to me is the starting point for us. And so I believe that you recruit your team every single day in the way that you, again, deliver that experience. And so we're very intentional, and we've designed this as a part of our process.
Are you a player's coach? You a disciplinarian? How would your guys describe you?
We talk about building boundaries here. I'd like to think that I'm a player's coach. I mean, I'm relatively young. I try to make sure that the boundaries we set are around things that are most important. We're trying to be a team that still functions from a foundation of human connection, and so my messages a lot of times challenge the idea that we're all inherently selfish, but we have to put the team mission first. And what does that look like? Again, coaching is full of cliches, and team sport is full of cliches, but to us it's less about the words and more about the action. But yeah, I mean, I want, again, my focus is on the experience of the player, and so I do demand discipline in certain areas, and there are high operating standards here and high expectations, but my job ultimately is to explain why that is, why it's important. We don't have rules here, we have standards, and those standards should be taught. And once you allow the player to have ownership over that and to understand it totally, I think in the end it becomes theirs, not mine.
Is it harder to get in to play football here? Is there a different admission standard to play Vanderbilt football than other schools? Like a grade point or I don't know, it just feels like you got to be smarter.
A lot of smart kids here.
Yeah, I just would be like, why is everybody wearing a monocle under their helmet? That's what I feel like that would be like.
It is harder here. I mean, we embrace that. It's not, again, we don't have a team of valedictorians. We have guys from all kinds of diverse backgrounds and academic experiences. We like to think that no matter where you're from or what your experience has been in the classroom, that there are certain foundational elements that, we provide support here where you're going to have success, but our guys have to go to class. They have to turn their assignments in. We're going to have midterms here in a couple months, and that's going to be a challenge to them. And we don't look at that as somehow independent of the football experience. We're training pros here, and just like for you, there are times where you get up and you have passion for your work, but certainly I'm sure you'd love to stay home and you have to get on the road, and you don't have choices in some areas when you want to chase excellence. No, it's no different for a professional football player. I mean, there are things that you have to sacrifice in order to refine your skills and to have staying power. And our guys learn that not just in our program, but in everything that they touch here at Vanderbilt, that it's not always about doing the things that you want to do. It's doing the things you need to do to sustain success. And any result's a lag effect of your investment. So these guys are investing in every area of their life while they're here. And it's, to me, one of the great parts and one of my great beliefs about why this job's important is because from this room will be, the future leaders of our communities. Certainly many of these guys will do that from NFL podiums, and platforms, but beyond that, I mean, we're gonna send out some really capable people that will have an impact in the world that my kids will inherit, and that's kind of a part of my mission and vision for the program.
Are there kids that can't play here though because they didn't make a grade that they could go and play at an Arkansas because the standards wouldn't be as high? I mean, that's just what I feel about Vanderbilt. I feel like it's harder to get in here, even to play football, and that would at times, and this would speak to the work that you're doing here, at times that would be tough for a coach because you're not actually recruiting the playing field.
We don't, our pool is not quite as deep. There are certain standards. Now those standards aren't, totally in lockstep with a normal student admission process. But it's our responsibility to when we are finding guys that maybe don't have the strength of foundation in the classroom, we're looking for, competitive characteristics that tell us that they're really interested in what this educational experience has to offer. We don't sell Vanderbilt as a degree. I think that makes it way too simple. This is an experience. You're going to learn to think critically. You're going to learn to ask good questions. You're going to learn to interface with some of the best professors in the world. That's an experience, again, that'll pay dividends in every area. And does that mean that sometimes, we're limited in our choices? Certainly, compared to our peers. But we don't see that as a disadvantage. I think if we're doing the right thing and doing our due diligence with respect to the, that threshold for ability, and then you look at a threshold for character and say, if we're above those two lines, we're going to be able to build a competitive team. And that's where, again, the design of the program as a developmental program allows us to take someone that has speed and length and frame, but maybe hasn't built it out, or maybe doesn't have the play experience yet, that may have been overlooked or undervalued as a recruit, that we know can have success in a challenging environment. And we grow them in our systems and our culture, and we believe that's going to produce a dominant program in this conference.
Coach, how do you keep the excitement, the momentum throughout the season? Because I know personally for me, when I get back from vacation, it's like, awesome, this is great and all, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks into it, I'm like, I'm ready for vacation again. So how do you guys keep it going throughout the season if you're not winning every game? I understand if you're winning all the time, you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I think, the truth is that, as humans, we're problem solvers. And sometimes, I've been on teams that have had undefeated regular seasons, and that sometimes challenges you more than years where you're trying to problem solve and figure it out. I mean, I think it's all a matter of the time and effort you've spent on foundation, how well you know your team, how well they know each other, how deep is their purpose in playing the game. Like, that's important, and we take time to develop that, and that doesn't start at fall camp. That starts in January when the team starts formation. But if you think about the year as a whole, we split the year into cycles, and so formation cycle is really kind of foundational to us. That goes from January through spring ball. Preparation cycle is summer through fall camp, and then this is execution cycle. And so for us, this is really on the calendar 3 months. We're fighting for a fourth and a fifth month, but the season happens so quickly that you don't even have time to get distracted. I mean, it's day in, day out. You're hitting the reset button. And I think my biggest challenge and a coach's biggest challenge in this time is to not defer an after action review to after the season. Is how do you focus on the most important things where you can adjust and adapt performance in the moment so that your team is playing better, in December than you are, at the beginning of the year.
You ever look in the mirror and go, holy crap, I cannot believe I'm coaching a Division I school? Because I do that stuff. I'm like, I can't believe I'm playing this stage. And I work so hard, sometimes I don't think about it. But I have a little break, or just it hits me and I'm like, what is happening? I can't believe it. Does that ever happen with you?
It does. Yeah. I mean, I'm I don't know, living the dream is the wrong thing to say, because I think for you too, I mean, you sacrifice a lot and you put a lot of time and effort in to reach these opportunities. The one thing that struck me as I accepted this position and stepped into it was, it's, I think in your mind, and I don't know if that you would relate to this, but I would imagine you would, as you're playing those environments, is you see those moments in your mind before you reach them as arrivals, and really their beginnings. And one of the cool things for me is this job, this role that I didn't do very well in my first iteration, that I'm growing and learning and becoming more effective in. It's a journey in and of itself. And so to me, it's like a great challenge, and it's something that the thing I'm working on now is just take enough time to really appreciate how I'm being stretched and how I'm learning and how I'm evolving forward while it's going on. Because I don't want to look up in 10, 15 years and think, I wish I would have, really thought about that more while I was in it. But certainly I feel like I have a great life, and I am so excited to be in the role and be around the people that I get to be around every day.
They have therapists for creatives, and so I go to my therapist, and they deal with creatives all the time, so we're extra nuts. Do they have therapists for football coaches?
Well, we need them, and we there's obviously sports psychologists. For me personally, I work with an executive coach that I think the first time we sat down, I needed a therapist. And I think it had to do with the pressure and just feeling like I was kind of on the verge of a season where I really didn't know what to expect. This was year one. as I've been able to like get my head above water and really establish consistency in my routine and my role, I think now we talk more strategically and about how I become better at my job, but
not plays. You're talking about
human strategic, and how do I facilitate performance in other people, right? I mean, no different than you. My mood swings impact everyone in the building, and so it's not so much always about how I feel, it's how I perform in my role that allows other people to be effective. And my message is really important here. It does set the course, but it's only as impactful as my assistants carry it to their rooms and my players carry it in their hearts. And so I've got to be super aware of the manner in which I deliver that message and focus on responding rather than reacting. Those are things that I don't know that you really fully grasp until you're in the role and you have to learn on the move.
Respond and react. I constantly am talking to my people about that. I try to get out of lizard brain. I try to get out of flipping that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm reacting, it usually ain't good.
That's right.
My reactions just usually are not good, unless I'm like dodging something. Other than that, it ain't good.
Being a head coach, is it comparable to, say, being the man of the house? Where, like, I have 4 kids. It's my house, right? It's my house.
I think
run
the
this.
man of the house, though, feels like 1954.
Check it, though. Listen,
Okay.
hear me out. Hear me out, though. So I run the house, but I really don't do much. I tell the boys what to do. Like, you are going to take out the trash. Right. Like, you take out the trash. You're going to take the dog out. You're going to feed the dog. So is that kind of head coach life where you're just kind of like, I run this thing, but all my people run it?
Simply, well, I see the parallel.
There we go.
I would say that it's a little more complicated because it's not so much telling people what to do. It's inspiring action in the spirit of co-creation. Is that too much?
Well, when I wrote Talis, my foreman never said co-creation ever.
He didn't use that word?
It's a whole different deal. He'd just sit back there, smoke a cigarette, and be like, "You missed that spot." It didn't feel like that's what you're the opposite of that.
So here's like, this is something I shared with the team in my first year, and the first year was really hard, and I look back on it reverently because it was our beginning, and we had to go through it. And I think all the pain, I was emotional after the Kentucky win last year, and I think a lot of people made the assumption that was because there was an SEC streak that we ended, or it was my first SEC win. And really, I didn't think about any of that or talk about it. I mean, that was not on my mind at all, because I've got a belief in what we're doing. And we say in the program, belief is a practice. And so you just step into that belief every day. But my emotion was more about the pain of our beginning and how much that this group of guys had gone through to get to that point, and being so excited for them to experience, and me too, to experience that breakthrough. But in that first year, I was inspired to tell the team that what we were doing was very similar to what it feels like to be a parent for the first time. And my experience with that was, you're obviously, you find out that your wife's pregnant and your baby's incubating, and that word is way too passive, but we don't know the experience in total. But every day you're talking to your baby, you're thinking about, for me it was our first son, C3, and it's what is it, one day he's going to be the president, the next day he's going to be a professional athlete, then after that you're like, hey, I just hope he's honest and hardworking, right? You have all these visions for success, and then the day comes when you're called to the hospital, and the next thing you know, again, to oversimplify, you're holding all those hopes and dreams in your hands. And I think there's no more human moment, an almost spiritual moment for me than that. Like, right, you're holding your child, hopes and dreams, and then and then he goes to the bathroom on you, and you can't give him back and say, hey, come back when you learn how to use the toilet.
You think about it, but you can't.
You can't do that, as it turns out. So what then? You recognize in that moment that you learn to put diapers on, and you realize that all those hopes and dreams that you had, that you microwaved in your mind, still exist. Are you willing to love and invest in that person every day? And so we talk in this program like we're co-parenting this program, and it's appropriate for us because we meet external doubt every day, and most people don't really understand what we're doing here. And so rather than try to convince them or somehow fight those battles externally, we focus on the love and investment we bring internally every single day. And we know that the ripple effect of that, how it manifests externally, will be to show and to reveal. But that's really not what's important to us. It's what we do inside together that ultimately is what's rewarding and fulfilling to us.
Man of the house.
No, that's the stupidest term ever.
Same thing to me.
No, but I do not accept the term man of the house. My wife, pretty much, I guess if anybody can be the man.
Oh,
That could be problematic. Yeah.
Yes,
That's right.
it could
Anyone.
be. Yes. Final 3 questions. What are your most used cliches? Give me 3 of your most used cliches.
Well, I mean, these are going to be unique to our program, but the first actually stole this from my time at Wake Forest with Dave Clawson, but successful people leave clues. So anytime that we have a guest that spends time with our program, or even if it's a player that's experiencing success, and that could be success in process, but I'll say to the team, successful people leave, and they'll finish the sentence clues. And the idea is just that we're paying attention to what people to what people have done to reach levels of success. And important for me, because we're trying to build resilience, is also acknowledging the adversity that they've gone through to get there. So that's one. Belief as a practice is another one. And again, that's just meant to like paint the picture that, when you, again, this is where I come from. Once you set your intention and your belief on something, the universe will align with you in your quest. And that doesn't always mean you get what you want, but you get what you need. And so that could be the sting of a painful result. That could be, a disappointing act by a team member or whatever, but it can also be positive things too, but you're seeing them not as impediments to your journey. You're seeing them as the path or the way forward. And so belief as a practice is one that's important to us. And you asked for 3.
Don't poop where you eat.
That's a
I don't
good one.
use that one.
Oh, no, you don't do that. Okay.
I think that's a good one, though,
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
As a parent, you use that one for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, probably literal though. I like that your team finishes your sayings or your, I wouldn't even say cliches, but your mantras. My team, they don't really do that. The only one we do is, ready?
O'Reilly.
That's
Oh,
a
that's
good
it.
one.
That's the only one we
You know
do,
what? I
yeah.
may steal that one. That'll be my 3rd.
Then they can sing it.
Yeah.
henceforth, yeah.
Eddie, 2 questions left.
All right, Coach. Do you care about what the media says? Do you read all that stuff during the season? Do you pay any attention to it?
No. 2-part answer to that. I don't engage at all in what what's being said or what is on message boards or whatever social media platforms, and that's hard. And I know I've not always had that discipline, and I think that the problem I saw is once that starts to impact the lens through which you view your experience, you're offloading power to people that really shouldn't matter, right? And that could be they're praising you. I didn't have a whole lot of bad games when I was at Notre Dame as a defensive coordinator. I had a couple. And what I realized pretty quickly was for whatever good will that I'd built up and good performance, when I had a bad one, it was pretty quick to crash down. So why would I spend time and energy on that? So that's the first part. The second part is I think it is important to pay attention to narratives around the program, because our players will experience those, and also we want to have an ability to message our community about the exciting things that are going on here. And so what I've done in order to do that is just to have a lot of transparency and open doors. And that wasn't actually how I was running the program year one, and I realized that I was really misunderstood. And so I just started to let people in, and team meetings, position meetings, whatever they wanted to come to, I wanted them to see beyond the curtain. And I think that's been helpful, at least in giving the people that are writing the stories perspective on what we're doing and why we feel like this is so special.
You can just show up, bro.
I know. I also heard, too, he's not going to watch this.
We're not the real media.
Yeah, I know.
We're the stupid media. Final question. Let's talk about next season. You guys end extremely high. I mean, I have a like a great taste in my mouth from Vanderbilt football because of how you guys ended last year, and it was the most organized storming of the field I've ever seen.
It was
like
incredible.
They were passing out tickets to storm the field. It was awesome.
One at a time.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, So, do you feel better now going into this season as compared to going into last year and even the year before then?
I feel more connected to who we are, and I think that's like, again, I'm gonna impale myself on this job. So what I want to do is feel a connection with the people in this program, and I want to feel like I'm fighting for them every day. That's how I feel. So I'm really excited, and we've gotten better too. The weird thing about what we're doing is that what I hope is that every year we kind of reset expectations, and it actually makes my job a little harder. And so, I do think the way we finished last season, we accomplished that to a point. I think that our fans and even those outside are expecting more from us. And we're at a point in this program right now where there's nothing guaranteed. So, we have to win every margin and show up to play every week. But certainly I want, with every year, this job to become harder and harder because people have expectations of what Vanderbilt football is about. And I think I will ultimately measure success on how I've impacted the lives of the people in this program. But a close second is how challenging I've made my job from a standpoint of meeting those expectations every year.
You mentioned the narrative of the program. I'll end with this. I think the narrative of this program, because of the upward trajectory, because that's a big part. Momentum is a big word, big part of it. How you end a year. I think it's just, I mentioned I was coming to talk to you, and the two people I talked to about it today, they were like, man, that team's really turned themselves around. Now, I think you won 2 conference games, but those were 2 big conference games, and they were recent. Mm-hmm. And so I think the narrative of this program is, hey, this thing is trending in an absolutely right direction, and it feels like you're rooting for their best interest. I need W's, Coach. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I need W's too.
Okay, good. As long as we're on that same
we're on the same page,
there.
yeah.
Coach, good luck. We really appreciate it. You sound like you read a lot of books. I like that about
absolutely.
you. It's like
we want to play for you now, Coach.
I don't understand a single word he said. I got to go back and put this in, re-watch it, and that dumb guy it up.
Yeah.
But we're rooting for you last year and really rooting for you this year, Coach.
Well, it's great to have you guys here, and it's always fun to do this, and appreciate y'all taking an interest.
What is to do this? I feel like in a way it's like talk to the
whatever this is.
Talk to the challenged children. He's like, sometimes I like to do this. Yeah. Well, thanks for the charity, Coach.
Really out of the goodness of my heart.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck.
Appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
All right, thank you to Coach Lee. We got some players coming up in a few minutes, but you've waited all year and the time has finally arrived. College football is back, so are the traditions, the tailgates, the great offers from DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. We talked about it earlier. Vanderbilt. And it's here. It's in Nashville, too. Usually, when teams are playing Hawaii, they go to Hawaii. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the guys from the team, and they said that last year they went to Hawaii, and they stayed out there for a week, and it wasn't hard to get out there and play the game. It was to fly back and play another game in 4 days.
Yeah.
After that lag, yeah. So, but look, you got Navy at Notre Dame, San Jose State at USC, Hawaii at Vanderbilt.
Let's go.
Kick off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the code BobbySports. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code BobbySports. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See show notes for full details. Hey, what's the deal with Reggie Bush? You walked in, Kevin, sent by Reggie Bush?
Yeah, now he's not going after, but he's, what do you call it?
He's suing?
Yeah, suing a lawsuit trying to get his Heisman back because they've been battling for a couple of years now with the NIL deals now that it's legal and all that. So he's trying to tell the Heisman committee, hey, I need my trophy back because you can get paid for this. So what they need to do is find out if it's legal enough nowadays for that to go down 20 years ago, then he also deserves his Heisman.
It's a little sticky.
Were they the rules then?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And that's it, right? That's what it's like somebody, and I'm not sure what the protocol is, but let's say in Colorado where weed is legal, now that it's legal, everybody that's ever had a drug charge, if they're in jail for a weed charge, are they just let out immediately?
No.
Do they just get it all expunged from the record? I don't think so,
No,
but I'm not
man.
sure.
Whatever the law was then,
Right.
you broke it, and that was your punishment then.
Right.
So you got to serve it.
So you don't think he deserves it?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, Eddie.
I don't know. Like I really don't. I just really, if you're basing it on that rule of that whole guideline, it's just you broke the rule back then, and that was the rule.
What sucks is his records don't even count for college football. All the touchdowns, the yards.
Entire season.
Maybe you'd have some sort of.
Who paid him? What happened there?
I don't know who paid him, but he was making. I mean, a lot of those all those guys.
Yeah.
He just got caught.
Did Manziel get his Heisman taken away?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
No.
he
didn't.
had a whole business going.
It just came out a documentary about it.
So there's a lot to be argued here if I was Reggie Bush.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'd feel targeted right now.
Okay,
if I
then
were him.
compromise. Give the guys Heisman, but don't give his records back.
Yeah.
Because you got to
Man,
save some face.
What do you want more? You want the trophy or you want your records?
I want the trophy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you got to save face somehow if you're the NCAA.
Yeah.
And that's probably, you reach a compromise there.
Oh, it's tough.
He should have his Heisman.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get to some interviews with the players. First up, starting quarterback AJ Swann from Vanderbilt. He was an Under Armour All-American in high school, an Elite 11 finalist, 4-star prospect before enrolling at Vandy in 2022. AJ had almost 1,300 yards passing with 10 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions as a freshman last year. And you can follow AJ on Twitter at AJ Swann10.
You walked up while I was just loosening up a little bit. I know you probably saw you a little intimidated. I'm a little older than you, so don't worry about it. You'll grow into an arm like I have. Your thoughts on watching me throw a little bit?
Honestly, kind of impressed by both of y'all. I mean,
Thank you.
I've watched my dad throw, and it's not the best. So I hope I always listen to this. Just so he
How
knows.
is your dad not the best?
Exactly.
Like,
That's what I was gonna say. Like genetically,
So actually, he's left-handed, and then in high school he played tight end, and he got his legs cut out from under him, and he put his arm down and it broke in half. So he had
he
surgery.
has a
That'll do
broken
it.
arm.
That'll do it.
You're giving your broken arm dad a hard time. And you're comparing us to your broken arm dad. That's even worse. You healthy? You good?
Yeah, I'm healthy, ready for the season, and definitely excited for this week.
Yeah. I mean, here we go. It's this weekend. It's
yeah.
a lot of, off-season, camp, early season. Does it feel like Christmas, or does it feel like, man, I just want to get this thing go? I mean, I don't know. Is it like boom, we're here, or it's just starting?
Kind of like Christmas. I think Christmas takes too long to come around, though. I think we're all ready for the season. We're all excited for it, so I think that we would have wished for it to come faster, but we're happy it's here now.
Do you feel like the game has slowed down a little bit for you from last year to this year, even because you've had the experience, but also you had a break to kind of let stuff process?
Absolutely. It's definitely a big difference just at practice. I actually got in trouble last week because I was seeing the routes too fast, and I was getting it out before the guy's head was around, so I had to slow it down a little bit. So I think that's definitely helped, and it's going to help going into this year.
How important is for you and your receivers to have, we'll use the word chemistry. I mean, it's the most cliche word there is, but it also means something. Is it harder to get out on the field with somebody you haven't had a lot of reps with? And what's the difference? If they run the right route, they run the right route. Like, what is the real difference?
Yeah, chemistry is definitely a big thing. Like, for instance, like a timing route, like a dig, or we have like a bang 8 route. Like those are huge timing routes because how fast defenses are, especially in the SEC. Like if you're late or anything, it could be a pass breakup or a catch, and you can get the receiver put in a bad spot and you can get hit hard. So timing's a big part of that, and chemistry's a big part of that. And it's definitely harder when you go into the field with the guy you don't have good chemistry with because you don't know how he's going to run the route or how fast he's going to get out of it, the angle he's going to take out of it. So chemistry's definitely a big part of it.
So physically, there are little things that the receiver does that you're watching as well, meaning if it's good off the cut, if he's quick off the line, if he doesn't jam. So it's just experience with another player.
Yeah, absolutely. I think me, Will Shepard, and Jaden McGowan are like with those two receivers I have a really good connection with, and Quincy Skinner's another guy that me and him are gaining connection every single day. So like with those three, I feel very confident that I know when they're going to get out of their cuts and like the angle they're going to take out of it.
They ever come back and like, you're killing me, you throw it too high. In the same way you could be like, you're killing me, you dropped it. Like nobody sees it, but if you throw a ball high and he gets lit up, you're like, God, dang, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, in the moment, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have just finished my throw, or like if I throw it high. But my mentality most times is just next play, next throw, because I know I'm going to make the next time. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bones. Like, so the my bad. Like, that's got to be hard, though, right? Sometimes when you're just like, that was on me.
Especially when they caught it. Like, it's a
Exactly.
completion, but you're still like, oh, I mean to put your ribs up there.
How hard is that to admit that you're wrong?
Honestly, it's not as bad as people think. Like, it's pretty easy.
Oh,
to
I never
say.
admit I'm wrong. Yeah, no, it is. It's
Hey,
terrible.
That's why I asked
Yeah,
it.
it's terrible.
It's honestly not that bad. I think it helps that the receivers are the same. Like if they're a little deep on the route and I got to throw it and it looks a little bit outside and it looks like I just threw a bad ball. Like they'll come over me on the sideline and they're like, that's my bad, I need to get out of it, or I went a yard too far. And I think that helps me be straight up with them too. Like if I throw it over their head and I'll be like, that's my bad, or if I mistimed the route and I throw it early, or if I throw it late, I'll say it's my bad. So I think that just the mutual, like being able to accept the fact and take accountability for like when we mess up is a big part.
What's a bang 8?
A bang 8 is it's like a
8-yard hook, if I'm guessing.
No, it's
exactly. That's why I don't guess this.
So it's our 5th outside step. It's like a slant or like a really short post. So like if you're a receiver and you have your left foot forward, your fifth step with your right leg is when you're gonna break and you're taking like a slant angle.
Why is it called a bang 8? I didn't hear the word 8 anywhere.
8 steps?
Why not the bang 5?
No.
Couldn't tell you.
He doesn't know.
We can make that real easy. Call it the bang 5 slant.
Some people call it different things. There's bang 8, there's glance. We call it bolt.
What's the difference in a slant and a bang 8?
The depth. So they give 1-step slants. You have 3-step slants. Some people use yardages for slants, but our glance or bang 8 is like how far you're getting down the field.
What's the difference in a hook and a curl?
A hook and a curl. So they're pretty much the same thing. We have a play called hook, which the route is very different than our play curl. So like for us, it's like very different. It's basically like a spot route. So he's running to the hash and setting up right there. And our curl, obviously, 12 yards, coming back down to 10 towards me.
So curl and hook both coming in back in the same direction?
Yeah, so I think the only thing is with those is they're working to the same area. So that's why they're referencing like you're about a hook curl player. Like those are really just referenced to that area. So like a hook's usually around, you could say 7 to 10 yards, and a curl is usually around anywhere between 10 to 14, depending on the offense you're in.
If you're looking at a single high safety, is that pretty much cover 0, cover 1 most of the time?
A lot of times, unless we're in like a snug or squeeze down alignment, then a lot of times defenses like to check cover 3. But a lot of times single high guys, they're getting pretty good at disguising it, but a lot of times it's cover 1, and we don't like hook or curl in that instance.
Yeah, right? Why is it important to identify the middle linebacker?
So for us, we don't identify the mic. We identify based on play, which backer is important. So a lot of times it's the will, or it's like a backside linebacker. Sometimes it's frontside linebacker, and the quarterback runs all that. So we have stuff called match, point, down. So like that's our all offense isn't just the mic, but a lot of times it can be the mic, and it's pretty important to know where the combo blocks for the O-line are going to go to.
Because if you can identify the will, which is the weak side linebacker, and you know that the line is supposed to find that line, it's just to know where the block is, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, and then so if we have a tight end in a run play, and I say point the mic, then they're going to work to the plus, which is in that case would be the Sam. Or if we're running to the boundary, it'd be the will. So it also tells like where all the combos are going to. So the tight end or tackle are going to work to the plus, the center and the guard are going to work to the point, and the backside tackle and guard are going to work to the minus.
Do you make your voice deeper? I would.
Oh, for sure.
Like I would make my voice deeper. It doesn't matter how deep it is. I would still take it down a notch just so they would think, you know.
Honestly, the Georgia game last year, I actually had to do that. Like I had to make my voice really deep, like in the huddle, because they were screaming the whole time. They had music playing, so I actually had to make my voice deeper.
When you're playing at a stadium that is extremely loud, is it hard to communicate when you're on the line? Do you have to can you go to full hand signals if you have to?
Yeah, we can. We also have a silent cadence that we didn't even have to work last year, but it's honestly not that hard. As long as you're clear with what you're saying, a lot of time the line, like, we have the chemistry. I have chemistry with the linemen. Like, they know kind of what I'm saying, and we all understand the offense well enough. Like, if I see somebody, they're gonna see it too. Like, I'll be like, easy. They'll understand that, so they'll all kind of get their eyes up, and they can see what I see, which helps a lot in those situations.
AJ, don't worry about it. No one's listening. But what?
Why would you say that?
Because he's gonna be honest right now.
Go ahead.
You study more the playbook or your classes?
I study more the playbook or the classes.
And which one? Which one do you study more?
Playbook, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your major?
Medical health and society.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
like super smart,
I think you need to focus more on the classes.
For the future people that you're doing medical health for.
They're not going to want to hear this.
Yeah. What's the goal with that? Let's say you finish here, you do your football career wherever it takes you. After that, like, do you want to go into the medical field? Is that like, what's the deal?
Not really. Medical health and society is like kind of like an everything major. Like, it's you can kind of get into anything you want, the business world or
that's the difference of Vanderbilt. That's the most complicated major ever.
I know.
For us, it was like general studies.
Yeah, it was like business. Well, what does that mean? Anything.
This is a hard school, huh?
If you make it hard, if you talk to professors and turn in your work, it's honestly, not as hard as he'll make it out to be.
It's pretty cool to go to Vanderbilt.
Very cool.
I mean, as far as colleges go, aside from the program moving in the right direction with Coach Lee, like just going to Vanderbilt, there's some real prestige to. I mean, this is basically an Ivy League school, just with an accent. You know, how did your family feel about you being at Vanderbilt?
They definitely like it. They're a little over 3 hours away, so definitely not that bad of a drive for them. They'll be up here this weekend for the game. My sister, brother-in-law, nephew. So excited to see them again.
You can fix your dad's arm with your major.
That's right.
You didn't have to make fun of him anymore.
I don't know if I could, but
Or I think he's making fun of us. The more I think about it, he was like, "You throw better than my dad."
Who has a broken
and
arm.
we're like, "Well, that's cool. What's he about?" Well, he broke his arm. Is that good? Are you really that impressed?
Wait a second.
Yeah. So you're healthy, ready to go?
I'm very healthy, very ready to go.
Good luck this season. I'm super pumped to, see you guys take it to the next level. And you like Nashville?
I love Nashville. Great city.
You like country music?
I do like country music.
Where are you from?
I'm from Georgia, Canton, Georgia.
What's in Canton? If I drove to Canton, Georgia, what's there?
We drove to Canton.
Yeah. What's the first thing I see when you get to Canton?
We have a stoplight?
Okay.
You have a stop? We didn't have a stoplight in my hometown. It's so small.
Yeah. It's not that small of a city, but definitely not that much to do in Canton. You get down to the Woodstock area, there's a lot more to do. And like the Cartersville area, if you're coming from Tennessee, he goes Cartersville to Canton to Woodstock. So like Cartersville and Woodstock have a lot to do, and Canton's just like the city in the middle.
Is there like a Georgia Hall of Fame there? Do they try to like replicate the Canton Football Hall of Fame? Do they do anything Hall of Fame-y in Canton, Georgia?
No.
Nah, stupid question. I don't know, man. Yeah, it'd be like Canton, Georgia, but they have a Hall of Fame.
You would think.
Hope you stay healthy.
Thank you.
Super. How tall are you?
6'3".
Wow, that's nice.
How tall is your dad?
5'11".
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the height?
My mom's side. My mom's 5'6", but her dad was 6'5", and her brother is 6'4".
Did you always play football, or did you excel at other sports?
Yeah, I was actually pretty much all baseball and basketball growing up. I actually hated football, and I quit in 3rd and 4th grade, and my dad made me come back out for 5th grade, and glad he did. But yeah, I played baseball up until I was 12. A couple of kids I played with got drafted last year. Dylan Lesko, who was committed to Vanderbilt, got drafted. Drew Jones, who was committed to Vanderbilt, got drafted. I played with a couple of those guys. And then basketball, we played YBOA, which is like AAU, but before they did like grades, they had the age groups. So if you had a kid who was reclassed when he was younger, we weren't able to play AAU, so we played YBOA, and we actually won the national championship for that.
Wow.
You should brag a little bit.
Yeah, man. Please, a little more.
Jeez, like
just a little more.
6'3", played with the All-Stars.
What didn't you like about football? At the
He's too
very
good,
beginning.
apparently. There's no challenge for him. Yeah, it's a 6'3", 9-year-old just dominating everybody.
No, I actually don't know what I didn't like. I mean, I was so young. It was just like another thing. Going in with travel baseball and basketball was just a lot during the summer, and then, or not during the summer, during the fall. But to change, I think the biggest thing was having to change my throwing motion between football and baseball because I was a pitcher. Was like really tough every single year to go back going in each sport. So that was rough.
Last question. I could do this for 30
Yeah,
years.
me too. I know.
So if you were how far can you just throw a football? I'm not asking you to do it. I don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
How far could you? How far can you throw it?
The farthest I've thrown it was senior year of high school. I threw it 73 at practice.
You can throw it 73 yards in the air.
I think I can throw it farther now, but that was the senior year. Yeah.
Wow. Was that a Hail Mary?
No, we were at practice, and we had a really fast receiver, and my coach told me to let him get down the field to see if I could outthrow him, and that's how far I threw it.
That's pretty cool.
I barely run 73 yards without much less.
How far do you throw, Bones? 30.
I don't know. I mean, I was showing off my 18-yard.
I saw y'all throw. I think I'll you get 40.
40.
Oh, if I do, it's gonna hurt the next day for sure. I'm gonna throw my arm out. Good to talk to you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up, linebacker CJ Taylor. CJ was named second team preseason All-SEC. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
I didn't know that, and I watched some clips later. Kevin and I were watching him. The dude can hurdle. He jumped over a lineman like no problem for a sack.
Really?
Yeah, last year against Missouri was awesome.
And then it was a scoop and score. It was pretty amazing.
Dang. Here he is. And he had on some shoes that were like slides, but I had like bubbles all over
Yeah,
them. We don't
little
think we
balls.
talked about him, but it was cool. It was pretty cool. Here is CJ Taylor. Follow him _CJ Taylor 1.
We were walking through the facility a minute ago, and there was like tons of free snacks. That's gotta be the best part about being a college athlete, right? Free snacks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it gets to the point where you're just eating just to eat.
I'd already eaten it. I still wanted to grab I didn't.
Yeah.
I still wanted to grab a couple just to have like a bar or something. Do they have a good program here to make sure like you're eating the right stuff?
Yeah, for sure. If you're not gaining the weight they want you to get, it's really like you're just not trying to eat. Like if you do what Julia says, and which is our nutritionist, if you do what she says, and you're going to gain the weight that you need to gain to be successful.
How much weight have you put on since you moved and started to come to school at Vanderbilt?
So when I first got here, I was like 195, but it was like bad weight. So I was like 195 with like 18% body fat. So, and that's very bad. I don't know if you know about any of that stuff, but it's bad. But now I'm like at 207. 9.5 body fat. So
same, me too,
yeah.
exact same.
Wow, that's amazing.
Why'd he laugh so hard at that? Yeah,
I'm not.
No,
But
thank you. Though,
What were you eating though? Is it like cheeseburgers?
So one of my coaches, or my position coach, he moved me in. He wasn't my position coach at the time, but he is now. And he moved me in to my dorm my freshman year. And like my mom, like I'm a first generation like college athlete or college student in general. So my mom didn't know what to get me. She didn't know like, so basically she overpacked and she got me a bunch of snacks and food. I had like maybe like 4 or 5 totes of like beef jerky, 5-6 totes of like ramen noodles. So like it was like bad. And like my position coach now, he was like, whenever I was moving in, he was like, dude, you can't eat that. And then like Julia was like interrogating me like, how much have you been eating ramen noodles? So it was a big ordeal because like my mom was a rookie when it came to this, so she was just trying to make sure her son was fed all the time. So
what's a normal day of eating for you? Like how many calories are you trying to put in? Like what is it? 3-4 meals, big meals?
Yeah, so I eat breakfast in the morning, usually like an omelet, some fruit, and then after practice I usually get some cereal, and then I go to Chipotle.
But you can eat clean at Chipotle.
Yeah. I usually go to Chipotle every day.
You get a bowl though, not a burrito.
And he also said usually every day. Like usually, but what it really is every day. Yeah.
So I get a basically a brown rice chicken bowl, and then throughout the day I'm eating snacks, and then obviously I'm a load up for dinner, whatever that may be. I'm a lasagna guy, so I like lasagna. So.
Yeah, if my stomach gets real bloated. You get bloated ever?
Nah.
Yeah, never mind. Just older
We're like
people,
old
guys.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you ever
CJ, look forward
you
to
ever
this.
get bloated? You ever hit someone so hard your head hurts and then you got to stay in?
Yeah, like the Florida game last year when I hit Pearsall on the sideline. Like when I hit him, I had their helmets were blue, so I hit him and I just seen like a blue blur, and then I got up and like the ref had like pulled me. He's like, "Hey, quit talking crap." I wasn't even talking crap. I was just trying to overcome the brutal hitting that I did to him, but that's one of the hits that I hit somebody. I'm like, dude, and then obviously I had to stay in.
How do you adjust to that though? Because anytime you hit or get hit, if it's if it's a big collision and you go on to the next play, do you just expect to catch up with yourself before the play starts?
I guess it's kind of different for defensive players. Obviously, offensive players they're the ones getting targeted. Like I'm trying to hit the offensive player every time, but as a defensive player, you can kind of control like the way you hit somebody. So if I hit somebody straight up, I can go lower next time. So I can kind of try to absorb the blows differently every time.
You ever just light somebody up and knock their shoe? You ever take their shoes off? You know they should decleater. You ever literally decleated somebody?
Like a car?
Yeah, I mean, I've hit someone that made them flip or whatever, but I've never like taken their shoes off or anything.
But hit them, it's like there's streaks on the ground.
You got to do that this year.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll
when
see,
you
we'll see.
do that,
You never teach me that technique.
You're like, nah, you don't know it from me. You get bloated. I had to bloat you.
When did you like to hit from the beginning, from the first time you played?
Yeah, so like when I was little, like I've always been like an aggressive kid, as my mom would say. I was an instigator, and I always loved like being aggressive. So when I first started playing football, it was kind of like second nature to me, and I really liked it. So I mean, that may be a question for her, but because I don't remember the first time I hit somebody, but from what I know, I was very aggressive and I liked it.
You hit them hard.
Yeah.
Were you
for
recruited
sure.
as a linebacker?
No, I mean, I was recruited as a safety to a bunch of schools, and then like the Army, Navy, Air Force, like those schools, I got recruited as a running back. So, I mean, for the most part, it was safety. For like the big Power 5 schools that I got recruited by, it was for safety. Mississippi State I was outside linebacker. That's what they were wanting me for.
How does it project to the next level for you? Is it wherever?
Yeah, I mean, it's so like obviously the NFL is more of a passing game, like because you can tell how they're treating running backs now. That position has evolved into a position that doesn't get valued. So it's really like a more of a passing down or passing game in that level. So if you play safety and they think you like speed, you're going to play will. obviously you have to show that you can use your hands. So really, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out, like, either I'm going to have to put on a bunch of weight, good weight, and play will, or get my technique better and play safety. So high safety. So it just depends.
Lasagna, it's the key.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little
Lasagna and
tip.
salad.
Lasagna is the key to put on weight. One final question for you. Going into the season, I mean, there's a lot of momentum. You know, according to the coaches, you're one of the leaders to keep this momentum going on that side of the ball. Like, we're about to go into game number 1. Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel like, you know, you got to be the guy out there that's answering everybody's questions if there is one?
No. I mean, I think as a collective, like, we are returning a lot of guys, like Mahoney, Ethan Barr, Kane Patterson, DeRicky, Nate Clifton. I can go down the line, Devin Lee. But I think that we all have a bond and a connection to where, like, I can look at DeRicky and he knows, like, if something happened and I look at him, like, he knows either he did something wrong and he can fix it, or if vice versa. If I did something wrong and he looks at me, I'm like, dang. Like, so I think that I don't think anyone has to answer to anyone's questions. Like, I think we all know there's a scheme and we're comfortable with it. So I think that's one thing that's going to carry us throughout the season, and especially early, because all the guys that were here last year, minus a few, like, we're back. So,
What was your best game in high school, stat-wise?
Oakland probably, versus Oakland. I had like 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nah, let me take that back. Blackman was my best game. I had like.
You want better than Oakland?
Yeah. My best game was against Blackman. We've never beat them, so we're 6A. We've never beat them for like the past 15 years, so we've never beat them. And then my senior year, we went down there in Murfreesboro, and I rushed for like 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, and we won 35-28.
That game is still close though. 35-28.
Yeah, I have a screenshot on my phone. Someone screenshot it at the end of the first quarter. It was 21-0. So we didn't do our job to pull off, or I guess you would say put the dagger in them. But they came
for
back
300 yards.
321.
Was it just easy? Red Sea parting?
No, if I was in shape, because whenever I was in high school, like, dude, I was a basketball player. I played football. I never had an off season. So I was just going from season to season, and you know that basketball shape is different than football shape. So even there's a quote that their coach said that if I was in shape, I would rush for 500 yards. But after every play, I was like this. So,
man, I wish I could be like that.
I know,
rush 300
me too.
yards. That'd be awesome.
Man, someday.
Have a great season. Good luck. Stay healthy. Really looking forward to this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Thanks, CJ.
Thank you.
Awesome, dude.
And now from Australia, the punter, Matt Hayball. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Matt Hayball, like with an accent.
I just called him Matt.
Yeah, me too. Matt's from Australia, transferred to Vanderbilt from Florida Atlantic last year. He's on the Ray Guy Award watch list, the top punter. He played Australian football, and we talk about that. You can follow Matt at Matt Hayball. All right, there you go. Here's Matt. By your accent, you're not from Nashville.
That's correct.
He's from Georgia.
A little bit further away.
Got it.
Yep, not far.
Florida?
Transferred from a school in Florida, but from Adelaide, Australia.
And so you're the punter, and I think of when I was in Australia, there's a lot of rugby over there. Is that what you did? Was that how you were brought into football?
I played Australian football, Aussie rules.
What's the difference in that and rugby?
You said you've been to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch? You caught some rugby games, not AFL though. That's sort of.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I went to something where they were playing cricket.
Cricket.
That's another thing.
That's
yeah.
another thing. That's a
yeah,
good
I'm not
one
really
too.
sure what that one is either. But I went to one of those
Yeah,
too.
that's closer to baseball, but.
Yes. Yeah.
Aussie football is sort of soccer, rugby kind of hybrid is how I describe it, even though the Aussies probably wouldn't agree with that. But it's just we sort of punt the ball around to each other. That's why there's so many Australians over here now.
So you were like throwing passes but punting it?
Basically.
Do you get a point
yeah.
if you kick it and someone catches it?
No, so we're trying to work from one end to the other, kick it through some posts, and you get 6 points for a goal.
Like croquet? Do you ever see croquet that's on the ground where you knock it? No.
Not overly familiar.
All right. Me either. I just
You're
had
confusing
we had
me.
a set in the back of the apartment complex we lived in when I was like 7, and I remember hitting. So were you really good at Australian rules football as a kicker?
So everybody kicks in the sport, so.
But everybody
That's
could
the
just
one I
come
get.
over here then if everybody was good and just be collegiate punters. They didn't know, you did.
It's a little different. You have to. We sort of kick those end over end style, so it takes a bit of training to be able to hit those spirals. The technique's a little different to sort of get to that level, but yeah, it is becoming more and more popular.
How did you get involved in American football?
So I came through Pro Kick Australia. That's that's the academy most of the Aussies go through. Just sort of do some tryouts there. They train us on how to punt, and the schools sort of contact them, and we get sort of partnered up that way.
Do you get hit harder playing Aussie football or punting American football when you have a big line in front of you?
Well, thankfully they're not really allowed to hit me over here, so pretty safe. But over there, no pads or anything. So
no pads, and they can hit you.
That's right.
Here they can only hit you if they tip the ball.
That's it. Yep.
Oh, so this is nothing.
Yeah, no one's allowed to hit me.
But did you wear a helmet over there?
Nah.
So that's got to be different though, to put a helmet on your head to kick.
Yeah, it's an adjustment for sure. Bit of extra weight, but nothing, no equipment at all in Aussie rules.
What's the key to being I don't know how to punt. I have no idea how to punt.
Yep. Are we gonna?
We're gonna
test
try.
You out
Yeah,
today?
as I can tell.
I just want like a quick lesson.
Got ya.
And what's the key to being a quality punter?
Well, it just takes consistency is the hardest part. So just a very repetitive technique that you're comfortable with, and we're trying to drop the ball flat, hit it through the sweet spot of the ball, and hit it high and long. Hopefully.
Are those punting shoes?
They're not punting shoes.
Do they have
no.
punting shoes?
Soccer cleats, really.
Huh. Okay, I'm gonna take a lesson here and learn how to punt.
Oh boy.
See how we go.
If I can hit,
I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's making fun of me. Is what
Yeah,
I
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I would never.
All right, let's punt him up.
Hey, before he leaves, are we gonna interview him again?
No.
Yeah, I want to ask him about the kangaroo.
Oh, I'd kill a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Wait.
So Bones thinks he can.
No, random. It has to be a random kangaroo.
He thinks he can take on a random kangaroo.
You think they're pretty big? You've seen
But
one face
random.
to face?
General kangaroo. So it's just luck of the draw. It's not one of those big buff.
The big
yeah,
reds.
If you just
the big
grab
reds.
one out of the woods, I think if you put me in a cage, I would kill it before it killed me.
It's optimistic. I'll say that much. They got some sharp claws.
Okay, and they may puncture a couple things, but I think I'm bigger and stronger.
They're going straight for the stomach with those.
Are you
claws.
rooting for the kangaroo?
I think he is.
I might be.
That's his
I might
mascot,
be.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not true. Okay. All right, that's it for the show. Thank you guys. Everybody feel good?
Yeah, man, feel great.
We got Coach Beamer coming up next week.
Yes.
We have Faraz Siddiqui talk fantasy next week. We got a lot more too. I'm just blanking. It's been a
UCF.
long day. UCF, yeah. Coach Malzahn. Yeah, you guys have a good day. Thanks for listening to 25 Whistles. Please share this and tell all your friends that you're a whistler.
Just that. When
Yeah,
you see
don't
your
say anything about
friends,
25 Whistles. Just be like, I'm a whistler, and say nothing else in context.
And if they ask any questions, just say like, oh, don't say anything
Just
after
start
that.
whistling. And if you see us out and about,
Whistle at us.
just say, "Oh, we need an official whistle, though. We need if we had an official sound, like
Ooh, I like that.
if somebody ever does that, you don't even mention it. You just know that you're a whistler.
And don't get offended if I can't do that to you because I can't whistle.
So if you see somebody out, you see any of us,
Dang.
we hear that, we just know. We don't address it. It's like Fight Club. We know you're a whistler.
Do we just give him like a look?
Yeah.
Well, that's like when you some families have family whistles. I don't have a family whistle because I can't whistle. But if I could whistle, I would do a family whistle. That's just like that. It's like our family. That's good stuff, man.
Okay, I'll blow this whistle. We're out of here. See you guys next time. Bye.